Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of The Policeman's Lineage, a Korean crime drama from 2022. Now the following plot synopsis was taken from the website Sung-young's Private Palace. The movie begins the story with Min Jae, played by Choi Woo-shik, who is your average rookie cop who has no doubt in his duty and principles. In one trial, he does not hesitate to give testimony against his older partner because he witnessed his older partner's dirty tactics as they arrested one criminal some time ago, and that certainly makes him quite unpopular with the police department. While he is initially ordered to stay low for a while, Min Jae is subsequently called by his direct boss in private, and he requests him to take a very sensitive internal case inside the organization. His boss in the Internal Affairs Department have been focusing on a prominent superintendent named Kang Yoon, played by Cho Jin-woong, because they believe this man is actually a dirty cop, despite a series of high-profile achievements on the surface. So they're going to have Min Jae infiltrate this man's team as his latest member. Now, the opening 10 minutes of this film actually move very fast, maybe even a little bit too fast. Seems a little bit rushed, but I'm not complaining because the core setup, or the core plot, is set up within that limited time frame. Early on, things are fairly commonplace in this film. You know, we're not quite sure if Cho Jin-woong's character is really a bad guy or not, so they play him in that gray zone that we're familiar with, where he likes to bend rules in order to get the job done. You know, so he'll let a druggie go even after they catch him, if the man is a good informant and can lead the cops to a bigger fish, you know, a criminal higher up the ladder. So it seems to be a pretty reasonable and pragmatic strategy for a cop, even if you're breaking some rules. But there's also the chance that this man may end up, or maybe up to something more sinister outside of that. Meanwhile, you know, our young protagonist sneaks around as he's in this cop's division, tries to gather evidence against him, which creates some light suspense. You know, The Policeman's Lineage explores the dilemmas of your typical undercover cop story. You know, our protagonist is not really sure who to trust. You know, his own internal affairs division are kind of cool regarding his protection and his safety and things like that. And he's wondering if he needs to trust this cop that he's investigating more than the guys he's working for, or vice versa. And it's a topic that has been explored in hundreds of movies before. In all honesty, I think this movie really does not cover any new ground in that aspect. I think that's kind of a limitation here. You know, this is a pretty kind of cliche story. And I do think that that is a limitation that is fairly common in contemporary Korean cinema. And I think I've mentioned this before on my channel, but there was like more of a vibrant creativity to the Korean movie scene back in the 2000s. And it's not quite as strong nowadays. I mean, there's exceptions, of course, but, you know, movies like The Policeman's Lineage, they kind of remind us that, you know, there's less creativity in the Korean film industry nowadays when compared to about 20 years ago. But the good news is that this is competently made. The story makes sense. There's just enough engaging conflict to make it work. Performances are good, too. You know, a lot of people will recognize Choi Woo-shik from Parasite. And Cho Jin-woong is a veteran actor who's reliable in practically everything he's ever been cast in. I don't think I've ever seen the guy give a bad performance. And you'll recognize him as well, probably. Unfortunately, there are no real memorable action or thriller suspense sequences at all in this movie. And the resolutions to the cases they're investigating seem kind of like an anticlimax. This movie is like constantly operating on a level of competent, but it never really excels to the level of very entertaining at any point. It's also 2 full hours long, and you know how I feel about that. So if I were to describe The Policeman's Lineage, I would call it a watchable movie that does nothing new. And if you've seen plenty of other cop gangster movies, you'll probably agree with me that this is not like one of the best out there, even in recent memory. There's a lot more of these movies that you should watch before this. But if you're a fan of the genre and or the actors and you've seen a bunch of other stuff, maybe give it a shot. It's kind of a lukewarm recommendation for me. but it's currently available streaming on YouTube, Tubi, and Amazon. And as always, I'll see you next time.